Hey, hello guys, and welcome to the second part for the UV tips in Blender. We're gonna continue with the UV process and the study case of this Zeiss Ikon Ikoflex ILA camera, the German camera that I was working in the previous one. So let me just sorry about that. This is air pressure. So let me just explain you some things in order just to make it a little bit more faster. I create a script because this project was already done, and I didn't want to show you the final result in first place. I wanted just to go um, to walk each other in the same process at the same time. And yeah, as you remember, we were working on the plastics in the previous tutorial. So these guys, I I told you in the previous tutorial in the first part that I wanted um, I wanted to just to show you in general how to approach all the final goal for these pieces in the UV editor. So for these guys, this is gonna be just the um, most of the UV islands, UV shells in the process for the plastics and the metallic plastic paints. There's another group just for metallics, and let's just tackle another one. Let's just go for let's go for the metals. And I'm gonna explain very specific some specific things for this process in this occasion, because the the thing is this. So we have some specific things that you need to think about it. First of all, we have a lot of screws or bolts in here that they have almost um, the same topology, but at the end of the day, they don't have exactly the same position. So at the end of the day, you need to understand that we need to have for example, for these guys, for these two guys, that's not a big deal. But for the rest of the guys, they have different position, all the vertices. So that's gonna be an issue. So what I wanted to show you in first place for these two guys in this case, because they are parallel in this kind of occasion, is this. For example, just for this bolt in this one, for example, we don't have any UV maps. We don't have any UV map groups in here. So it's because I use some. I create a script with some help with the AI. This is the way that I want to use AI, just to help me, not to do my stuff. So I was searching for some of the processes here in Blender with this guy in here with the oh, I'm so sorry guys, with the info section, because as you can see in here, all the actions are in here. So when I tried to delete the UV map, I just extract some of the code, and then I just put it in DeepSeek or ChatGPT, and then I just send some orders to the softwares, to the AI softwares, in order just to accomplish something. I didn't use full 100% scripting because I'm not a scripting guy, but I understand the code at some point. So the thing is these are conditionals at some point, because we're using if, while, and for, and what is it for. And in the context of the objects, what I am selecting right now in the layers, if I am selecting just these guys, I just tell the script just to remove the object data UV layers, so to 0. That's That's the order, that's the script. And also I asked the AI software just to rip off all the notes in there, because and simplify the script, because I don't want so much information in there, and I don't want to get any I don't want to get confused. So this is the script. Just what does this script does in this situation? Let me show you guys. It's pretty interesting, because many people told me, "Oh, you're doing this, you're doing that." For example, let me just show you. For example, with all of these guys. For example, let me just apply. For example, a project from view, and as you can see here, we have a UV map already in every of this piece. So we already have, before we didn't have any UV map grouping here. So what happened with this small script that I did with AI? Waste so much time. What I did with this is only for the pieces that I select in general, for example like this, I'm gonna run the script and it's gonna delete all the UV maps. In first place, there's a small bug that it shows only that it doesn't delete anything, but at the end of the day, if you deselect and then you reselect again, all the UV maps that you are selecting in each piece of this collection, they're gonna be completely deleted. This is pretty useful because you don't want to go one by one. You're losing so much time, you're wasting so much time. So let's just run the script, for example in this case, and then just reselect this guy. As you can see here, we don't have any UVs here anymore. We don't have any UVs for these pieces, not even for any of these guys. This is very useful, and this is the script. This is for everyone. I'm not trying just to sell this script, because everyone can do um, simple scripts like this in ChatGPT or DeepSeek. So I'm gonna approach the goal in here. So I'm gonna just rip this window in here. So let's just continue um, with our travel in the UV processes, because we want to just continue doing all this stuff in the right way. So let's just go, for example, for this guy in here. For example, there's a lot of information that you can see in the screen right now. For example, we have a lot of cylinders in here. We have these gears. The thing is this. Okay, I have some triangles in here, but these triangles are not affecting the subdivision surface. I have already tested, because I already have, for example, my support lines in this section. For example, this one is already dead in here. We can kill these guys in here, but that's not 100% necessary. But we have these two lines in here that they are just covering our backs in the process. So let's just go for these guys, for the metallic frames for the lenses. So for example, in this case, for example, what would I do in this case? For example, let me show you. In this case, I would do two things, because this is something that many people will say, why are you doing this, and why are you splitting your UVs in two UV sets? The reason is this, because I want, for example, in this case, I want to cut in here, then I want to ungrab this guy. It doesn't matter which one you choose. At the end of the day, you are gonna try just to um, straight all your UVs. For example, I'm gonna use minimum stretch. Uh, in this case, I have something that I like. This is pretty good actually. And then let me just put my screencast, because many people is gonna tell me, I don't see where you're clicking right now, man. So okay, that's pretty good actually. Okay, so I'm gonna call my tools for straight UVs. In this case, for example, I told you in the previous tutorial that um, I want to gradify, make straight something like this, like a rectangle with just um, one shortcut. So what I did for this guy, if you can see, it doesn't say anything about any shortcut. So but I already have it. I just click it. I just made my hotkey like Shift Q, and then it's gonna straight or gridify all my cylinder of the metallic frame for the lenses. So I already have this information in here. This is actually pretty good. Let me just kill um, the metallic uh, setting in here, because it's just causing so much issues in there. Let me just okay, viewport thing. Let me just put, yeah, it's alright. That's right. Okay, as you can see here, um, all our information in here is just working pretty good. Actually, we don't have any bad deformations in here. The reason because we have a different cut in here, like pretty close, is because we have the seam in here. So if we just subdivide this guy with keep corners like this, keeping the corners, is gonna fix all the UVs in there. But it's pretty important because we need to have, at the end of the day, these two lines close to this one in the middle. I call these lines pretty close to the middle one, I call them support lines. It's not a universal vocabulary. This is something that I learned when I was working at Disney and also at EA. And I think it's a pretty neutral name in here. So I have my UVs in here, so these are working pretty good. And it's gonna be exactly the same process for this guy. So let me just do my cutting here. I'm gonna mark my seam, and then I'm gonna cut this guy with minimum strength, stretch, Shift Q, and then what is gonna be the next thing to do? Okay, let me show you guys. So the reason, because I am working with UVs with two sets in here. So this is gonna be the main, and this is gonna be for the brands. So what happened with this guy in here? So with this guy, okay, let me see. Okay. With this guy, what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna cut in different parts my seams. In here, also in here, possibly in here. Yeah, this is pretty good actually. Mark seam, and then I'm gonna just apply again my UVs in this guy. So I'm gonna have these two guys like this, and then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna rotate these guys 90 degrees, and then Control P, I'm gonna add a little bit more space in the margin, and here's gonna come the explanation about why I did this. So in this case, what I did for this guy is this. So as you can see in here, guys, we have more resolution in these guys. So what I can do when I start just texturing with the brand, with letters and things like that, if I have more resolution, I'm gonna have more possibilities to have a better results at the end of the day. We can combine these two guys in just one or two materials at the same time. This is very important because sometimes we can see in commercials, we can see, for example, in some cinematics, that some props and some assets, they got close-ups, pre-close close-ups, and people is saying, so I need to do textures of possibly 8K or 16K, things like that. And no, guys, no, that's not the way. What we can do with this is you can work with possibly two textures of 2K, completely divide, and then use them with the full resolution just for a small piece, like a logo, like an engraving there. And that's very important for us. For example, let me show you what I was meaning with the two different UV maps in here. So for example, with this one, you can see the resolution is the pieces are very big in here, and they're a little bit blurry in here. But with the brands, this resolution is a little bit more sharp, more accurate in here. So in the process of shading, for example, in this case, we can bring, for example, in the input map, and we can call any of those and then combine it with these materials independently. So this is a very important tip for people that is frustrating all the time doing textures with extreme big resolutions, like the war is gonna end. No, 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 guys, just come down, else your mind, and we have the solution for this. So I have these two guys like this, and also I'm gonna do exactly the same process for this guy. So it already has this, so I'm gonna call this guy up main, and then I'm gonna just click plus in here, and I'm gonna call it up brands. So in this guy, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do exactly the same process. I'm gonna just delete this guy. I don't wanna put the cuts in there. I wanna put the cuts in here because I wanna divide in the top and the bottom, because in that order I'm gonna have more resolution. So let's just go back to the UV editor. So let's just unwrap again. Shift Q, Control A to average the island scale, or the shell islands scale, or the average the shell scale. Control P, and then let's just put a little bit more, a bigger guy in here, like this, something like 0.064. Let's just pack it. I really don't care if they are in vertical, and if I have to texture from the bottom to the top. I really don't care if I have this, but if you have a junior in your pipeline, or an intermediate guy that he doesn't know how the pipeline is working in the studio, so let's just work in a more logical process. So for example, in that case, it would be like just rotate 90 degrees and then just repack these guys in order just to have some everything horizontal. So we have this, and we have exactly the same process like the other guy downstairs. So we have these two guys in here. So let's just go to the main. This is the main, this is the main, but we have main. Let's just rename this guy. Let's just put lower main, and let's put lower brands. That's alright, man. So we have this, and as you can see, the process, I know it's a very simple shape. This is not advanced. Let me be very clear. This is basics. Why? Because you need to have tools in order just to approach your goals. So let's just continue with this, guys. For example, let's just go for the gears. The thing is this, we can have these two guys with the same UVs, but we want variation. What I am talking about is that if you're working in film industry or TV industry, and let's just put an hypothetical case in here. Let's suppose that the client wants these two gears to be completely different, with the bump mapping, with the roughness, with the colors and things like that. So in this case, you need to unwrap these two guys completely separate and work with UDIMs. You can do it with a little bit more different processes, like using a random color or things like that. Yeah, you can. But if you want to maintain, for example, the information completely intact in one gear and intact in the other gear, so let's just separate both guys in different UV UDIMs in here. So in this case, personally, what I'm gonna do is this. Okay, people is gonna tell me, why don't you cut in here? That's an option. That's a pretty good option. That's not a big deal. But the thing is this, if the client tells you, hey guys, I want to have some anisotropic lines in here, and then I want in here something a little bit more circular anisotropic effect. So it would be a nightmare to have a cut in here, because you need to work just in this separate area and then this separate area. So the reason because I did these support lines is because of that. So I'm gonna cut in there, and then I'm gonna cut in the other place in here. Let's just do exactly the same for this guy. I know we're gonna have a little bit more shells in here. We're gonna have more islands, but we're gonna have control. So that's pretty important, guys. So let's just start just cutting, for example, these guys in here. Let's just make a cut in here, also in here. Let's just deselect this guy. So we're gonna make a cut in there, and we're gonna do exactly the same for the other guy. Okay. In this case, why I cannot copy the UVs from this guy to this guy? Because they belong to the same object. They're combined. If we separate these two guys, they're gonna have at the end different position of the vertices. So that's something that is gonna be a pain in the ass, because the copy paste UVs will not work properly. That's why. So even if you reset the transformation, it doesn't work properly. I tried in Maya, I tried in Max, and also I tried in Reason, and it doesn't work properly. It's not because it's bad UV mapped. It's because the position of the object is in a global space, and the other guy is working in local space, because you are working in that in real time. So in this case, it's gonna be exactly the same process. Let's just click this guy in here. Let's just select the guys in the other side in here, and here we need to select this guy in here. We need to select this guy in here. Yeah, we're gonna make exactly the same thing like the other guy. We're gonna make the cut in here, and also in here. Let's just mark the seam, and we're gonna unwrap this guy. Let's just try, for example, angle base, and let's see the results in here. So we have pretty nice and good results in here. That's not a big deal. Let's just see how it behaves with conformal. I don't like it because we have like a concave shovel shapes in here. I don't like it. Let's just try it. Minimum stretch. I like it because it's giving me a good idea of how the things should be working. Let's just, in this case, let's just, for example, let's see what happened if I, for example, I straight the lines of these guys in here. Let's just use the Mayo tree tools in here. Let's just straight these guys. It's working pretty good. Not too bad. Let's just straight these two guys and let's see how it behaves. It's not bad, guys, but there's something that it's telling me that is not properly done. I don't know why. Let me see if I do something completely different. Let's just try these guys in here and see how the straight. There you go, guys. This is what I am trying to look at. It's a little bit more straight. I like it. Let's just try it with the other guys a little bit more close to this conflictive area with the triangles. Let's see if they behave better. No, so good. Let's just try with these guys. Better, but not 100%. Okay, let's go with this guy. This guy is working properly. Let's just do exactly the same for the rest of these guys. Let's just click these guys in here with the Maya 3 tools in here. Let's just straight these guys. And actually, it's really good. I like it. I like how they are done right now. Control A, Control P, and then just put this guy like this. There's a small bug here in the most recent version of Blender. I don't know why it doesn't restart or reset this number in here in the margin between islands every time I deselect some specific objects in the scene. But that's not a big deal. Let's put back the value 0.064. Let's just put it like this. So as you can see here, the problem with this is that we're not saving so much space. That's because we are having this problem in here. As you can see here, guys, the problem is that these pieces are extremely large. They're stealing so much space for the rest of the shells in here. So what am I gonna do with this? I'm gonna unsynchronize or sync these pieces, and then I'm gonna select everything in the middle until the middle like this, and then I'm gonna separate these guys. Why did I synchronize? Why did I synchronize? Is because when you synchronize in here, all the faces are gonna be detached just in this process. But if you unsynchronize here, they're going back and all the faces are gonna be attached again. But I need to detach it without making cuts and ungrab. So this is a better way just to detach things here in Blender. So in this case, Ctrl P, and there you go. So we have more space in here. This is what I was looking for. This is actually very important for this process. So we have enough space. So as you can see here, we have pretty good UVs process. We have the cut in there. So this is working actually pretty good. Let's just go for a more complex shape in here. Let's just go for this guy in here. Okay, for this guy, what's gonna happen with this guy? This guy is something that it looks like a cylinder, yeah. But if you want to separate these pieces in a more proper way, you need to analyze what you have in there. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna make some cuts in here. I'm gonna make a cut in here. I don't care about these guys in here. Have to be honest, I really don't care, because in this case is pretty close this line to this one, and this one is pretty close to this one. So I really don't care about that. When I subdivide and I send it to Mary or Substance Painter, the UVs are gonna work properly in here. So that's something that it doesn't make me worry, doesn't take my sleep. Let's just go until here. Let's just go here and then here. Let's just make the cut in there, in here. And pretty important, guys, while we are working in here, we don't have UVs at the moment. Let's just make a plan projection. While we are working on this guy, I would like to have on live on grab. What is this guy in here? What does live on grab means? It's gonna continuously ungrab while you are making cuts. But in order to make it work, you need to have UVs in there. If you don't have any UV in there, this won't work. So as you can see, we have these UVs in here. So let's just make the unwrap in here, something like this. But we're gonna make a cut in the bottom in order just to unwrap something like a label. Let's just make the cut in the bottom. For example, we're gonna make the cut in here, something like this. So we're gonna have these guys like this. Let's just be sure that we're selecting a complete half. So as you can see here, let's just see the texture in here, the UV texture, the textile density UV texture that we brought. So as you can see here, we have this. So let's just add another card in there, and what's gonna happen. So okay, let me see what's going on in here. I think it's not working because I made the cut outside. I think so. Yes, that's why. We need to activate also the changes here in outside. Okay, let's just ungrab again. And so we have this. So what happened if I make a cut in here? What will happen if I make a cut exactly in this section in here? So let's just do it. Mark seam. And you can see the label and grab is working already. It's the label and grab that you check in here is just for the UV editor, but the label and grab that you check here in this section in the tools of the properties, it works for the cuts outside in here in order just to work here to make the changes. Before I continue, I need to give you a note, a warning about this. Okay, if you are working on UVs and you don't have a control or order of what you are doing in there, that's gonna be something pretty nasty at the end of the day. Why? Because the problem with this is that the label and grab is gonna continuously working with the process. This is something that you need to take in mind, guys. While you have label and grab in here and also in here on, every cut you done, every change that is gonna come. So be conscious that label and grab is gonna be the first layer of your processor or of your process. So this is quite alright. For example, in my case, what I'm gonna do with this guy, I wanna make it a little bit more straight like this. For example, I wanna straight this guy in here, something like this. Also, I want to do with this guy also this. I want to maintain straight as much as possible my UVs in here. People always ask me, why do you want to have as much as possible straight UVs? It's because it's gonna be much more easy. It's gonna be easier to work in texturing. It doesn't matter if you are working on seamless or tailable textures. As much straight you have your UVs, more flexible is gonna be your texturing process. This is just an advice. I will not force you guys to do what I do in this different series of tutorials. It's just tips, tricks, and things like that you can use. We have a ton of tools in here in Blender. You don't need to buy Maya, you don't need to buy 3 Studio Max, you don't need to rent those softwares, or you don't need to buy some UVs. You already have pretty powerful UV tools in here and for free. It's not promoting the software. The software is in there. It's at the end of the day, it's a tool. It's on you if you want to use it or not. In my case, I have been a Maya user and Max user for more than 20 years. I started 3D when I was 13. So I have already checked many 3D softwares like Silo, like Lightwave, like XSI, Maya, 3 Studio Max, Modo, Houdini, etc. And this is, for me personally, I already put everything in the balance. I have what I need. This is completely okay. If this is free, I'm saving so much money here. So let's just continue. So we have this, and we have pretty nice UVs in here. This is the process, for example, for these kind of cases, because we need resolution in this case, for example, for this guy in here. And also we can have, for example, for this section, for here, we can have another UV map, but this is not the case because we're missing, for example, this guy in here. These two guys, where the textures are gonna be necessary for the brands, for numbers, for the f-stop in here, for 11, 3.5, etc, etc. So let's just continue with these two guys in here. So let's just go for it. Let's just make a cut in here because we need more resolution in the top than in the bottom. And for this guy, in this case, I don't need to make a cut in the middle because it doesn't have anything in the back. So let's just make the cut in there, and let's just ungrab these two guys. Let's just use the new tool. The new tool is actually is really good. So for this case, it's not a trick. It's a tip that I'm gonna give you. For example, we have these corners, and we have this support line, and also we have this one. So let's just make a cut in there for these two guys. And as you can see, the leave ungrab is just working in there properly, so we don't need to ungrab again. It's just doing it by itself. So it's saving me so much work in here. That is unclick and click again and doing this stuff like this and blah blah blah. You know, going back and forward. So there you go, guys. So we can make these guys in here. I think we can make these guys like straight lines, like redify these guys. Let's just do it. So we have something like this. And also for this guy, we can make a cut in the middle in here in case that we want to add like some specific engraving in there. So let's just make these guys like Shift Q, the gradify. Let's just Control A, Control P. Let's just put this guy. This is what I was telling you guys. It just resetted. It resets by itself like for 0. This is a little bit annoying. I'm gonna try for next time. I'm gonna work a little bit. I'm gonna play a little bit with DeepSeek and ChatGPT to produce a script to avoid these kind of things, and possibly I'm gonna add it into the Blender development section in order just to contribute to the community. So let's just pack it again. So we have this, and we have enough resolution for this guy here in the top because we're working with possibly we can work with 4K, or let me just see, for example, how this is working. Let's just identify these guys in here. So is this guy here? So let's just put this guy like this in horizontal, like this. Also this guy. Let's just pack these guys. Okay. What I'm gonna do in this, okay, this is something that this is gonna be my main UVs for this guy. I'm gonna apply again in order just to repeat the action, the lesson for you guys. This is gonna be main. This is gonna be f stop nav main. And I'm gonna add another one. And with this, what I am going to do is this. I'm just gonna make a cut in the middle. Also with this guy. Let me see if, okay, yeah, I'm gonna make a cut in here. Yes. And I'm gonna just put these guys like this and then Control P. So with this, you can see the difference with the textile density. For example, for the f-stop knob main, and this one is gonna be the engrave f-stop. Sorry, English is not my main language, guys. I think I speak pretty good English, but a little bit crashy. So as you can see here, I have my engrave for the numbers and things like that. You can see the textile density, the letters in here. So let me just rotate these guys like 180 degrees. Yeah, there you go. You can see how big is the letters, the numbers in here compared to these guys. These guys are a little bit bigger, but the resolution is not good enough. This is 1K image, as long as I know, if I am not mistaken. Let me see. No, it's 2K, but this is much better, for example, for resolution, for close-ups and things like that. So in Substance Painter or Mary, you can make a projection in here, and it's gonna be much more helpful for you guys in order just to have much better resolution. So we have this, something like this, and yeah. For the rest of the guys, for example, for this guy, it's exactly the same process. Also for this guy here, it's exactly the same process. And for these guys, I have completely different approach. So for these guys, what's the approach for these guys? Okay, the cuts that I am gonna do are gonna be here in the corners. I'm gonna make some cuts in here. So the leave and grab doesn't work because we don't have any UVs in here, as you remember correctly. So we're gonna make marks in here, and then we're gonna make the stretching in here. Let's just Shift Q. We have actually pretty good resolution. Let's just pack these guys, and there you go. So we have this. You can rename it if you want it, but I just renamed the UV map sets just for parts that I'm more interested. For example, for knobs, where I'm gonna find some specific details like numbers, like brands, specific. If you wanna put in a specific damage or scratch or wear and tear, so those are more important for me. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna, in this case, for example, let me just, it's no batteries. I'm gonna keep the corners in order just to avoid those stretching areas. Let's just go for another one like this guy in here. For example, we have this guy in here. Let's just make the cut in here. Let's just make the cut in there. Let's just make the cut in here because I don't want to mess with this guy in here. Also this guy, and also this guy. Let me. No, I'm gonna uncheck this guy. Just this guy. I want to maintain 4 shapes in here. the top, the bottom, and both sides in there. Let me see how it behaves. Let's just ungrab these guys and let's see what we have in here. Let's just make first a projection, then just ungrab like minimum stretch is not so good. Let's go for conformal. Conformal is going really good, so we can just make some adjustments in here, or we can leave these guys. I'm not so worried about these guys. For example, let me just shift Q these guys. It's really good actually. It's alright. Shift Q these guys. This is actually pretty good. This is making straight lines here. It's alright. Not so bad. Something like this. Let me. Not so bad. Yeah, it's alright. We can make and tweak some stuff manually because it's not so much, so that's not a big deal. Also with these guys. Yep. Yeah, there you go. It's not so much problem. Let's just Control Shift Tab. You can call all your snap UV elements. So I'm gonna use vertex in order just to snap in here, and also with these guys here. Yeah, there you go. It's not a big deal. We need to snap these guys. Yeah, these guys. There you go. And let's see how it behaves, the Mayo 3 tool with the straights in here. No, it's not working properly. We need to rotate a little bit manually by eye, something like this. It's alright. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, there you go, guys. Control P. We have this. So this is very annoying. I hate this. Yeah, there you go. So, and this is the result. So this is gonna be exactly the same technique from this one to the other guy that we already have in here. For example, for this guy, it's exactly the same technique. So I will not do everything because it's just the most complex sections in there and the most captive for the eye. For example, this section is just a cylinder in here. So let's just continue with this guy. For example, let's just make a cut in there, a cut in here, and a cut in here. Let's just mark the seam, and then we're gonna make the cut in here. Let's just ungrab this guy, minimum. Let's just see how it's working in here, and it's working pretty good actually. It's quite alright, man. Yeah, as you can see, Control P in here, it's saving for the 0.064. You can see this is a really nasty, really awful bug that Blender Foundation needs to work on it. I don't know why they're not, they don't have this, they haven't covered this issue yet. It's really weird and annoying, man. I'm gonna send some bug note in the for the issues and the technical issues in there. So yeah, there you go, guys. It's yeah, for the rest of the pieces it's exactly the same. For the screws, this is what I wanted to show you guys. This is, if you don't have the same position in local space and the same position of the vertices, copy paste the UVs are gonna be not 100% impossible, but it's gonna be a nightmare at some point. So for example, for these guys, what I'm gonna do is this. For example, originally what I did is when I finished this guy, I just make cut in there. I made another cut in here. Oh my goodness, this is a mess for because the clipping of the camera is not catching everything. It's too small. This is some of the things that you need to watch out when you are working. This is the reason because sometimes, not always, sometimes some people works on not in one-on-one or 1 on 100. Some people works on 1 on 200 or possibly more in order just to have everything big, and then they just reduce it because they don't want to have any troubles with the camera clipping. I know people is gonna tell me this is double work. It's not double work. It's something that you can just fix it just with 2 or 3 clicks, and that's it. So let's just ungrab this guy. Let's just angle base. Let's just see how it is behaving, these guys. No, there's something that is not working properly. No, there's something that is not working properly with the minimum stretch. Let's just work with conformal or angle base. Angle base is conformal is pretty good, is actually. So let's just put these guys something like this. Something like this. So not all the bolts are gonna react with the UVs. Let me tell you this before people start complaining. Just let me remind you guys, when you have the same object with the same topology, but they don't share the same space in local space or global space, UVs, copying UVs from one object to the other is it's a nightmare. Sometimes it's because they're not sharing the same position in the space. So for example, let's just see, for example, copy this guy and then this guy. Let's see how this is gonna work with the Maya tools. As you can see here, we have copy. So let's just copy, and then let's just paste. As you can see, there's no paste because we don't have any information, but let's just paste the information for this guy. So it doesn't share the same position, it doesn't share the same things. So what we're gonna do is click this guy, then this click guy with shift, Control L, and then we're gonna copy UVs, or you can transfer too, but transfer is not gonna work all the time. Let's just copy the UVs. So what's happening in here, because they don't share the same space and the same rotation, that's why this is copying this. But if you click Control A, it's not 100% attached, it's not merged. That's why. So that's the reason, because I prefer, when I start modeling, many people tell me, when is the right time to start the UVs? There's no right time. There's gonna be some cases where, for example, you start working on the bolts, and then you said to yourself, how many bolts I'm gonna have in the scene or in the piece. So I'm gonna have possibly 50 or 80. So the question, another question is gonna be, do they have the same design? Do they have the same shape, the same amount of vertices? There's many factors in this situation. So in my case, originally what I did is I create just one bolt, I UV map it, I ask my before everything, because this is very simple. I don't want to jump in conclusions. I need to ask my lead, and I'm gonna tell him, hey dude, so I have I have several bolts in here, so I don't want to just copy and paste all the UVs, because they don't share this exactly the same position in local and global space, and they don't share exactly the same position with rotation, blah blah blah, etc etc. We have negative spaces and things like that. So I asked my lead or supervisor, can you check just this bolt? Just tell me yes or no before I continue, and I continue all the process. Is this okay? Okay, if he's a yes, okay, the model is already done, and then I UV map it, and then because it's already approved, I'm just gonna do a duplicate or a special duplicate that is gonna share the same UVs. For these cases, I really don't care if they share exactly the same material, because they're pretty small, and the the fans will never perceive the differences, that they share exactly the same textures. But for big pieces, that's another tale, completely different. So this is a pretty good case where you need to just do one bolt, and then just replace the rest of the bolts in the other positions. So this is a pretty good trick and tip for you guys, because it's something that you need to take in mind. And also another trick that you can do, another tip for this is, when you're in a production, and you already know that you're gonna have some hard surface and mechanics in there, just take in mind before you start doing things, tell your modelers or your sculpting guys that you already have those guys, um, the screws model, screws, and things like that already model, and they already have UVs, so in order just to avoid extra work. So this is something pretty small case, but it can become a horrible nightmare if you don't know, if you don't have good communication. Even though if you are working with AI in the future for modeling and things like that, you need to tell the AI, hey dude, I already have some screws in there, and they're already UV mapped. So can you add to the pipeline, and can you replace those that you produce with mines? So this is communication, guys. This is not only AI is gonna do everything. This is something that you need to take in mind all the time. You must not let a machine control the whole project. That's not okay, because just remember one thing: the client always is gonna be at some point right. I'm talking about money, guys. I'm being sarcastic. So just take that in mind. The AI will never be able to control the client's decision. The client can say I want this, and the AI is gonna tell you I have better option. But if the client says I don't give a shit or I don't care, the AI is completely ruined with its decision. So at the end of the day, AI is gonna be a tool. It must not take the main control of your projects. You need to take control of your projects, guys. So it's I work with AI, but also I'm not agree with um, doing things 100% with AI, because I don't have control. So I want to have control. I want to supervise. I wanna give the final check to say yes or no. The client is gonna be the last check to say yes or no. So as you can see, guys, this is something that is a little bit more complicated than than you thought. For example, this is gonna be the last piece that I'm gonna UV mapping here. So as you can see here, this looks pretty complex, but at the end of the day, guys, it's really simple. Really, 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 really simple. So we already have this border in here, so let's just select this guy, and we're gonna select the other guy here. So we're gonna select this guy. Let's just mark the seams, and we're gonna select just the cut in here, guys. So let's just be prepared for what you're gonna decide in here. So let's just make this cut. Let's just mark the seam, and let's just ungrab this guy. Let's just do minimum stretch. It's gonna take some time because, as you can see, there's a lot of topology in there. I didn't want to do this guy with displacement maps, because displacement maps it's alright, but it's not gonna be 100% controllable. So we already have this guy, so let's just ungrab this guy again with angle base. I want to see how it behaves. It's personally, I can see it's much better. I prefer this than the other guy. Let's just see, for example, if I um make this straight, how it's gonna behave. There's a chance that my machine is gonna crash, guys, because there's a lot of information in here. So let's just be honest. When I click this guy, possibly it can crash. It's 50-50. So let's just wait. So there you go, guys. It's working properly. I like it. I like the result of this guy in here. So this is pretty good. I'm gonna leave it like that. Also for this guy, for example, I'm gonna make it straight. It's working pretty good. Ctrl P, then there you go. It didn't work because, as you can see, it reset it to 0 again. So now you know how I feel. So there you go, guys. We have pretty nice and dandy resolution for this guy. So it's working pretty good. We have pretty good resolution in here. We will never have any letters or engraves in these guys. Like, I have never seen one. But if in a very rare or strange case, if you're gonna have some like engraving in for this guy, you can do exactly the same process. We can have two different UV sets, like one for the main steel texture, and the other one just for the bump mapping or the engrave with, I don't know, letters, logos, some painting or things like that. And yeah, well, and there you go, guys. So as you can see here, so I have already UV mapped some several pieces in here, like these guys. So I have all of this. For example, I have these guys, and first of all, I want to maintain all my scales properly done, 100%. So we're gonna make Control A, and then Control P, and then we're gonna repack everything in here. It's gonna take a couple of seconds in here. So let's just be sure that we have our transformations completely reset, and let's just Control P. Let's just put 0.016 because we have more pieces in there right now. So we have something like this, and we have properly done 100% textures in here. So this is much better to see. So we have proper textures in here. We have proper textile density. This is actually pretty good. This is, yeah, quite pretty good, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, this is alright, man. So we can make this guy also straight. That's not a big deal. Yeah. There you go. So we have pretty good results in here. So guys, so this is it, I think. Um, um, and if you have any other questions, you can add your comments. Because I'm gonna finish the video right now, the live. I'm gonna just finish it, but you can put some comments in the rest of the comments where the video is gonna live in YouTube, asking me whatever you need, and I'm gonna try to read everything if you have questions. And see you next. I'm gonna do the other part, the third part for the rest of the parts, possibly next week because I have things to do in my personal life. And thank you very much. Have a good night, guys.